Hi, welcome to Unscripted with
Aditi,
and Haley, where we take you behind the scenes of our acting journeys.
and today we're going to be asking us each other some questions.
Yeah, so I'm really excited because I have been very, very prepared for this. I have been waiting for this. I'm so excited to get to know all of the juicy behind the scenes tea. So,
Yeah,
without further ado, we're getting into this because I'm really excited to play interviewer. Okay, so I want to know have you ever felt like lost in character?
I feel like it depends on honestly my process and also I guess like my emotional state as like a DT.
Yeah.
When I'm playing characters, I feel like sometimes doing effective memory work can really bring me in a very deep place with a character, especially if it is a more emotional scene. And yeah, I think it just depends on the method I go about for, becoming the character.
Absolutely. And then kind of like building off of that, has a character ever forced you to like confront an emotion or like grief or something, heavy like that you'd been like avoiding or maybe not like wanting to explore?
I think that for me, I don't think it's so much of like letting an emotion, come to fruition through acting. I don't think it's so much that. I think that naturally I just lean towards doing more deep, emotional, and those kind of drama types of characters. And I feel like it just comes very natural to me. It's just acting, but again, like it's acting, but I take it like very seriously and,
Absolutely.
the character and creating it and becoming it. But I don't think I bring my personal emotions to that. But however, this is gonna be weird, but when I switch to comedy, I feel like I bring out this like more like crazier side to me
Hmm.
and let out just like those like happy and ecstatic and excited emotions through comedy more so than drama.
How like do you find like a piece of you in every character?
Yeah, no, honestly, I think it's both ways. I feel like just finding a way to relate to my character in a certain way can really just help hone the character a little bit more.
Mhm.
And again, just like seeing how parts of my life, parts of my experiences, my memories relate to, the characters. And I always know to never judge your character.
How do you know? Because like I know like in class we talk a lot about like how it feels like in your body. How do you personally like know that it's coming across as honest and authentic work to you and it's no longer just words on a script, but it is a character that you have built? Like how do you know that you've passed that threshold?
I think it's a feeling that I think when actors reach that point, they'll be able to notice it. But I think it's just once you kind of let go of the lines, and that's like one of the first steps. But I guess emotionally making the stakes and the situation very real for yourself. And again, that can go back to finding a relation from your life to the character's life.
I know like a lot of actors, I kind of want to go off track from just being your character and more into like the technicality of it. For a lot of new actors who are hopefully watching this and maybe like learning something, um, what is your technique to memorizing lines, to being able to get off the page?
Honestly, in the beginning, when I first started out, I think memorizing for me was me writing down my lines over and over again to just memorize it. And that's one way to do it.
Mhm.
Another way is you can record the other person's lines. So basically, what I do is like you say your lines, you record the other person's lines, and then you say your lines and you record the other person's lines, and that way like you can keep on using that tape of the other person's lines to help you memorize your lines. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, rejection is a huge part of the industry. Kind of no matter what industry you're in, but especially in this industry, you'll hear, I feel like it's a common phrase, you'll hear 1,000 no's and one yes. How do you deal with rejection? And was it something that you were familiar with before being in the industry, or was it something that you had to overcome?
I think that I definitely knew about it from people. And I think sometimes I do take it a little hard, especially for roles that I really want. But I think that at the end of the day, like, being grateful for the opportunities that I've gotten. And, it's just every audition is just another opportunity to, explore a character and exercise, your craft. So I think that's kind of what I like to look at auditions as, more so than, like really wanting to get the job and just thinking about that. It's not a great feeling, but honestly, like that's part of the process because one day you're going to get that job. And with that in mind, just keep putting your best foot forward and putting the effort in, you're going to get there.
Yeah. And then let's get into kind of the juicy stuff that I feel like everyone wants to hear. You were on the hit TV show Law and Order. So what was it like working with those high profile actors?
It was honestly amazing. Like I said in the previous episode, they honestly just made me feel so welcome. Working with them just felt so like comfortable. They gave me so much attention and so much love and appreciation. And at first it's like you're meeting such like huge actors, so you're kind of intimidated. But it didn't feel scary or anything at all because they were just so kind to me. And yeah, it was an amazing experience.
And then can you walk us through like your day on like your average day on set?
Okay, so every day is obviously different based on like the location and whether how long the drive is and if you're wherever you are. But for Law and Order, we stayed in Manhattan in this really nice hotel. But yeah, we would have to get up pretty early in the morning. And then they had like this huge like van kind of car type of thing, and they would pick us up, take us to the location or the Law and Order building. And they would give us like the call sheet. They would give us the call sheet.
Yeah.
And sometimes like we would be in my trailer or we would have like the room in one of the in the Law and Order building. But yeah, I remember like especially like the on location ones. It was really fun because I had my own trailer. I also remember that I had to get 3 hours of like school in because I was a minor. Yeah, and then we just went about the day filming scenes, makeup, costume, all of that. Yeah,
And then filming
filming. Yeah,
and then wrap.
filming, and then wrap, and then crafty.
Yes. What
Uh,
is your favorite crafty snack? Everybody wants to know. What is
okay, so we had we had this cheesecake one time.
it?
It was really, really good. A little story. So one of my last days of filming, they like it was the second episode that I worked on for Law and Order, and I accidentally stole something from set. It was a necklace that they had. They gave me, and it was so pretty, and I forgot to take it off at the end of the day. Um,
Still
and
have it?
I still have it. It's still in my little jewelry box. But yeah, and then sorry,
Successfully stole something from set.
successfully stole something, and I didn't even know it. But you know what? I'm glad that happened. But another one was that like when we were like trying on like certain outfits for the character to get approval for them, I really liked this one shirt like for myself, and I was like, oh my god, that shirt's so cute. And then the last day of filming, I come into like my room and they have like the shirt on the table for me, and it's like from and it has like a little note on it. We hope you love the shirt. It was so cute, and I still have the shirt and the necklace. So those little things just like made it even better.
Oh, wait, that's so fun. Okay,
Yeah,
and then for the last question, what is your favorite kind of character to play?
I think you know this, but I love playing like the deep emotional characters. I feel like yeah, it's just so easy for it just comes so easy and naturally to me, and just like exploring like the emotional life of the character is just always so fun.
Absolutely, and you're so amazing at it. You're so talented.
Thank you. Same goes for
That everybody, if you guys haven't already, go check her out on Law and Order. She's amazing.
yeah.
And hopefully you'll get to see her soon in some things.
Yes, yes. Same with Haley. Go check her out. Go check out Prom Dates. You're gonna be seeing her soon. You're gonna be seeing us soon together. Um, yeah. Okay, now it's your turn. I have quite a few questions to ask you. Okay, first question. Has playing someone else ever helped you heal something personal?
I think I deal with a lot of anxiety as Haley. And so I think kind of getting to play like these very like out there characters, especially Jess, because she was just very unapologetically her and very loud. And so I think that kind of helped me like just be less self-conscious because I had to be in front of all these people on set playing this very loud character, which is not me at all in person. And so I think that kind of just helped me to let loose. So yeah, I think getting to play characters like that definitely helps me a lot.
Yeah. Second question. What's something you've learned about human nature through acting?
I think that people are a lot more deep than we realize. And I know this sounds like so like intellectual and different, but really like getting to dive into so many characters and explore them in class and even just watching other people explore characters in class. Like there was one that you were doing from One Tree Hill, and I remember you were like, "Oh, she's somebody that just doesn't care." And it wasn't that the character didn't care, it was that something had happened to her to make her not care. And so
Yeah.
I think that like kind of that really like shifted my like understanding of humans because I was like, you know what, that's so true. Like it's not that people don't care or it's not that people like don't show emotion, it's that there is something happening in their life that is causing them to have this reaction to internalize everything. And so I think that just, gave me a lot more empathy to other people.
Yeah, because you see, these different characters in their different lives. So, you get to see different types of people in a sense.
Absolutely.
Third question. What scares you most about a new role?
Um, I think just not doing it like correctly because I think it's so hard to like do a character a justice in the way that like you can perceive a character completely different than the way it ends up being played. And so I feel like it always just scares me that I'm doing it wrong, even though there's no such thing as wrong in acting. And like no one should ever feel like they're playing a character wrong or they're doing something wrong. But for some reason, I feel like for me, whenever I'm stepping into a new character, it's always very scary to play it wrong.
You want to do it right for yourself and the audience, so I totally get
Yeah.
that. I feel too. Fourth question. Is your preparation more instinctual or structured?
Um, I think it just depends. I think for something like a comedy, like honestly, Jess was very structural, where I had a lot of coaching on it. Um, but it ended up being the one that got me booked. Um, but it just depends. Like there's definitely a lot where I feel connected to more characters. And there definitely is comedy where I feel very connected to it and it's just instinct to play the character, but then, there's sometimes where I definitely need to like build the character up a little bit more. I don't think it makes it less if it is more structured. It's still the same,
Yeah.
you're still the same actor, you're still just as talented.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. How do you navigate moments of self doubt in your career? because obviously, like, again, with like the rejection and stuff, it can be hard to believe in yourself and believe in your career, and I think every actor faces that. So I was just like wondering, how do you navigate through those kinds of moments?
Um, so whenever I'm going through like kind of a moment of self-doubt, I just think about all of the actors that are huge that have still heard no. And I think that makes it so much better because it's like it's also not anything personal. At the end of the day, like it is a business and they're looking for the person that they think is best suited. But just hearing about like all the people that, for like example, all the people that auditioned for Wicked, like you had Amanda Seyfried and she auditioned for Wicked and she didn't get the role, but she's still huge. And so I think that's just very like it's very, I don't want to say like inspiring, but it's just it makes me feel not alone. Like you could be the hugest actor and you'll still hear no. And that's okay because it just means that it's not the role for you, but it doesn't mean you're a bad actor. It just means that something bigger and better, more suited for you is coming.
Yeah, 1000%. And I think, again, like you said, it's not personal because sometimes it just is down to your hair color or your height, things that you can't control. What makes a story worth telling?
I think any story that comes from someone's heart that's authentic to them. Honestly, the stuff that's authentic is going to get more traction than it could be a movie directed by the biggest director like in Hollywood, but if it's not authentic and it's not coming from the heart and there's no like personal connection to it, it's not going to translate. I think it's honestly more of if it comes from a place of the heart because the biggest part of the entertainment industry is being creative. And I'm a very creative driven person, and a lot of my best work is not stuff that's technically the best, but stuff that comes from my heart.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. So next question. Do you think acting is more about empathy or transformation?
I think it's a little bit of both. Um, I think definitely a lot more about empathy because you have to have the ability to step into a character's shoes and really feel what they're feeling. Um, Whether it's something that you've really faced in your real life or not, I think you have to have a lot of empathy. It's something so personal, but something so like beautiful. And I think it's honestly taught me a lot about empathy in my real life because it's like whenever you're playing all these different characters that have gone through different things, you then I've had empathy before being an actor. I just like to say that, but I think the more range of characters that I've gotten to play um, and gotten to audition for, the more I've understood everybody's their own person and they're doing their own thing and they're doing the best they can. So I think it's a lot of empathy.
Yeah, I think again, like everyone has like their own experiences, the way they were raised, all these different things that makes them who they are. So I think, acting has helped us just understand that and feel that. Yeah. So my next question is, have you ever felt like a character taught you something about being human?
Yeah. I think Jess, um, which I keep referring to Jess. Jess is my character, or young Jess is my character in Prom Dates. I think getting to play her taught me to just have fun in my life and not take everything so seriously um and to not just not care as much. Like she was just so free spirited. So yeah, she definitely taught me to have fun, and I
Oh,
appreciated that.
yeah, I love that. Um, so my next question is, what kinds of stories do you feel most called to tell as an actor?
I mean, usually you don't really get a choice because it's like you get an audition and you either say yes or no, and I say yes to absolutely everything. Um, but I think the stories that I think translate the best for me is those really fun characters. It's what I've been called back for, would have gone to producer sessions for. Um, it's just those really fun characters. um, where they're bubbly and they're, kind of out there, which I think is so funny because it's so far from who I feel like I am as a person in my real life. But for some reason, I'm able to just drop into those characters really well. I'm happy and eternally grateful that I'm even able to be in the rooms that I am now. And I'm very happy that I get to be the fun, bubbly character because I think it teaches me a lot. It teaches me a lot.
Yeah, no, I love that. Last question. What is your process or like how you go about certain characters and certain scenes and how is it different in comedy and drama?
Yeah, so whenever I'm doing a comedy, it's usually finding the beats and the physicality because I feel like with comedy, um you're bringing yourself to the audience. I guess is that how that kind of is. Um and then with a drama, you want them to lean in.
Yeah.
And even like I find to do a lot more quirky hairstyles if I'm going out for a comedy role. Um and wearing brighter clothes. And then versus something like a drama, I think a lot of it is more focusing on the internal work and doing effective memory. Like listening to music, that's one of my huge things. For an audition, I'll listen to music before, and that kind of gets me into the headspace. Like I remember one time I was auditioning for a character that had lost a parent, and I remember before I would, do the scene, I would listen to a certain song, and that would kind of trigger like the memory. So I think I like to do association with drama, and then with comedy, it's about bringing it up.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree because like for me, like I think like this is scientifically proven how like music like plays such a significant role in your emotions and stuff. So again, like playing certain types of music for like those drama kinds of role really helps. And then again, like comedy, I feel like it's way more physical, the environment. Um, but yeah, okay, so I'm going to ask you two lighthearted questions to end this off. If you were to shoot out of the country, where would you like to film?
I think Italy. I've always wanted to go to Italy. I want to film in Italy. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. What actress would you most want to work with?
I think Ariana Greenblatt. She's so fantastic. She's so fantastic. I love her so much. She's such an inspiration. Um, and I've also been compared to her a lot.
Yeah, you definitely
Which
look her. I can see it so much.
I feel like I look nothing like her. But I think it'd be so interesting to see what we could create together. Lighthearted questions to end this off. If you could be in any project, current or, um, like past project, what project would you like to be in?
Again, my favorite movie is Interstellar, so if I could be in that, that would be amazing.
To be an Interstellar, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, to be an Interstellar, that would be amazing. Scream, yeah, of course, Scream. I don't know how, I almost forgot that, but Scream. I would also love to be in Stranger Things, so that would be really, really cool.
And then last question. Ooh, okay. If you had to dye your hair for a role, what color would you want it to be dyed?
Okay, well,
And you can't say like blonde or anything. It has to be fun.
okay, well, I was gonna say brunette because that's like the closest shade to my hair, but honestly, I've been loving like the cherry cola hair color.
Oh yes,
The
you need
cherry
that up.
cola, yeah, no, I feel like I think it's so cool. Like, I see it like all over my Pinterest and like on TikTok, and I think it looks so great. So if I had the opportunity to do that, that would be so cool. Or like doing like a 2000s like teenage girl with like kind of like the streaks of like different colors, like different
Yes.
kind of
Like
colors, like being like I don't know, like the typical like Disney teenage girl, like that kind of like hair color. That would be really cool. Yeah.
that'd be fun. Okay, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Unscripted, and we cannot wait to see you guys again in the next episode.
Yeah, and next episode is going to be about some advice for young actors, any actors. So super excited for that, and thank you for listening. Okay,
But yeah,
love you. Thank
love you. Bye.